the aquarium is full, the very most important thing we put in is a water ager. And what the water ager will do is take the chlorine and chloramone and stuff out of the water. So this must go in every time that you add new water, so you don't get chlorine issues in your aquarium. It's a very attractive man there. Look, he's very attractive. Then the next thing that's the next most important is your KH. Now there's various types of KH. This one's an Amazon KH, which is really good for Amazon fish like angelfish, because Sydney tap water often has a KH of near zero, which can be a real problem. Now this one is a Amazon conditioning salt, and this helps to raise the GH and helps to improve the immune system of the fish. Then also, this one here is a good idea. This is a good bacteria. So this helps to seed your bacteria and get your good bacteria going, because your system needs good bacteria to break down the waste from your fish. And there's that very good looking man again. So every time you do a water change, you must put in water ager. If you're adding anything new to the tank or doing anything major to the tank, a bit of good bacteria is good. It's better to keep this one in the fridge once you've opened it too, by the way. And then the GH and KH needs to be added according to what the GH and KH level of the tank is. So most water changes, let's say you're doing a 10 litre bucket of water, I'd put a little squirt of this one in, I'd put a teaspoon of that one and a teaspoon of that one. Now the teaspoons don't have to go into the bucket, they can go into the tank water. Now if you're taking water out, then typically all three of these go back in. If you're putting water in, then that's for a top up, and that's because of evaporation. So you definitely don't need the salt for evaporation, and depending on what your KH level is, you might not even need KH for evaporation, but you definitely need to add this for all water going into the tank, including evaporation. So you'll be amazed how much your water evaporates, even to the point where some people think that they got a leak in their tank. So water evaporates, and that's just what happens. And when you put water in, because it's evaporated, you need to add water ager, but that's not a water change. A water change is where you take water out and then you put water in. That is a water change. So a water change, you may need all of them. 1 teaspoon in the tank, and a squirt of this per bucket. But if you're doing a top up, chances are you'll only need this one. And what I'd recommend you do, if you don't have your own test kits, which most people don't these days, just pop down every now and then with a sample of water and a video. We want to see a video of everything going on with your aquarium, but in the video we also want to see all your bits and pieces, your water agers, your fish food, all your stuff. We want to see all that in the video. We want to see what the fish are doing, and we want to test your water. Then we can guide you. If you need to be adding more GH or less KH or whatever, we can give you that advice according to what your levels are. So I'd be recommending that you pop down to the shop at least once every 3 months. But as a rule, never ever add new fish unless we've tested your water and we've looked at a video and we know that everything's going okay before you add new fish. When it comes time for fish, this is likely to be a Amazon community tank, because the fish of choice for this tank at this stage seem to be angelfish. Angelfish are absolutely beautiful fish, but I would probably start with my top dwelling fish. So I'd pick some fish like maybe some live bearers or whatever you want, that actually where their mouth opens up. So if you started your tank, you put in say half a dozen, say mollies or anything along those lines, assuming you're going to keep the pH around neutral, maybe even slightly alkaline in Sydney, because that's the way Sydney tap water tends to be. Then you want to wait a week or two. Then you bring a sample of water in a video down to see us at the shop. And then, if all's okay, then get some mid-dwelling fish. Your angelfish are mid-dwelling fish. Now, you're really better off getting about 6 angels, because when you see them together in the wild, they tend to be amongst driftwood and they tend to be in groups. So you can definitely get a pair of them if you're lucky. But if you get some and they are not getting along, you might find they bully each other a little bit. So starting with a little bit more tends to be better as far as angels are concerned. Then a couple of weeks after that, you bring us another sample of water in another video, and then you can consider putting some bottom-dwelling fish in. I'd want some Corydoras catfish. I'd want some bristlenose catfish. maybe something different like some coolie loach, like little worms that burn along the bottom. There's so many choices that you can make. But when you're buying your fish, you really want to buy about 6 at a time. So you put about 6 in, you wait a week or 2. You bring us a sample of water in a video. You chuck another 6 in. You wait another week or 2. Now, if you go piling the fish in too quickly, then they will produce too much waste and it will take too long for the bacteria to form. Then some of your fish might start dying. Because everything must be done gradually and must be done slowly. Otherwise, Mother Nature will penalize you for it. So it's really important that you bring us a sample of water, bring us a video, and be very patient putting your fish in. And when you bring your fish, you're going to float them in their bags in the top for half an hour before you let them go, just to acclimatise their temperature. And if you have any reason to believe the pH is different, in Sydney, generally everyone's tanks are slightly alkaline pH. It's pretty rare to run a true Amazonian tank with acidic water in Sydney because that's not the way our water is. Our water doesn't like being that way. You can do it, it just takes a lot more effort. And if you did need to acclimatise fish as far as pH is concerned, what you do is you put the bag in the top, you roll the bag open, so there's plenty of surface area to the bag, and then you add a bit of water from the tank into the bag, wait 5 minutes, add another bit of water into the bag, wait 5 minutes. But as far as most fish are concerned in this aquarium, in a slightly alkaline water, they're usually totally fine. And what I'm saying is that you've got some fish that come from rivers, and if they're at the top end of the river, the water's more acid, then your fish from lakes or your fish from the other end of the river tend to be more alkaline. Now, the fish from the acid environments tend to handle alkaline water much better than the alkaline water fish handle the acidic water. So if you're going to mix acidic water and alkaline water fish, like is very commonly done, you want to do that in slightly alkaline water because you'll find the fish tolerate the slightly alkaline water better than your alkaline fish will not handle the acid water. Now, something I will not do with an aquarium is a magnet cleaner. So the magnet cleaners let you clean the glass while, like this. And we've got that side, it's got an abrasive, and this side has got the little razor blade. And you find that they're very good. They make life much easier. Every time you start the prime on your filter, I'm a big fan of flushing it for like half a bucket. You want to make sure there's no air bubbles in it and make sure that your inlet line is full of water before you turn your filter on, otherwise you can blow it up. So the light is now on the heater, and the light will only be on while the tank is heating up. As soon as the temperature gets to the set temperature, which in this case would be about 26 degrees, then the light is going to turn off. If you want your temperature run hotter, you just turn the little dial up or down. And there's a little display on it. It's very easy. Now we've added the water ager and we've added the KH and GH. So then what I do now is wait several days, so 3 to 5 days. Then we want a sample of water down to the shop, and we want a video of the filter running and the tank running down to the shop. Then we can get a small amount of fish. Now, there's no point waiting weeks because biologically nothing really happens unless you've got really dirty gravel. If you start with bad tap water or really dirty gravel, then sometimes you do actually have to wait longer. But we can test that for you, and we can tell you once we get the water sample whether you're ready for your fish or not. And it's really important that when your filter pumps, you need to be able to see it pumping, and you want to see that surface agitating. Because when the water comes out of the filter, it's very low in oxygen. So that's why you want it right up near the top, and you want it sort of agitating. The thing we're waiting on now is the temperature to come up to 26 before we add fish. Then we also, if you're going to leave this in the tank, it's sort of okay, but try to leave it so the steel bit is out of the water. These are supposedly waterproof, but they do tend to last longer if the blade is out of the water. And over time, the blade can be replaced if you see that it's starting to not work as well as it did.